This week in Jamaica Now, government declares 3 weekends of lockdowns as COVID cases surge, hospitalizations hit a new record, and deaths pass 500. And the government has now passed new laws for up to $500,000 in fines for COVID breaches.
If you don't open back the church, he's gonna make you an example. Your firstborn son is gonna die. Katarababa.
How a pastor who declared doom and death for the Prime Minister ends up in jail. National leaders take first doses of their vaccines. Seniors down to get the jab this weekend. 27-year-old woman charged after confessing to the murder of her 84-year-old grandmother. 2 soldiers charged with raping a JDF trainee and robbing her male companion at the Army headquarters. And tributes pour in for late horse race trainer Wayne Dacosta. I'm Damian Mitchell, and this is Jamaica Now. Jamaica will this Saturday begin the first of 3 weekends of lockdowns as part of the COVID containment efforts. It coincides with the surging COVID infections now past the 37,000 mark. Deaths have also crossed the 500 mark, and hospitalizations have now exceeded 400. The weekend lockdowns will begin at noon on Saturdays and end at 5 o'clock on Monday mornings. However, Easter Monday will be a no-movement day.
What this means is that the hospitals are stretched. They are doing their best to take persons in, as many as they can treat. However, we should note that we can and we are now at a breaking point. We have reached that breaking point. You are seeing the videos being circulated of patients being treated in situations which we would consider to be less than the dignity that we would expect our Jamaicans to be treated with. And that is something that hurts me deeply as Prime Minister.
And the government has now passed amendments to the Disaster Risk Management Act. The changes will make it a criminal offense to breach the orders. They also propose up to $500,000 for people who breach the orders. The fines may be paid at the tax office or at the court. However, offenders will not attract a criminal record. A St. Anne pastor was this week jailed amid a probe into his utterances inciting violence on Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
The people can't get rid of you, but God says, I'm gonna take you out and make you an example for touching the sons and daughters, ridding them from worship. God says, judgment in the camp.
The pastor, Peter Chambers, was arrested in St. Anne, pending a decision by the Director of Public Prosecutions on whether he should be criminally charged.
The most honorable, noble, and Julius, I know you're watching me. Rukatada Baba Shanda. Listen, Lord told me to tell you, if you don't open back the church, he's gonna make you an example. Your firstborn son is gonna die. Katarababa. Listen, the corrupt judiciary cannot lock up God. And that you need to know. Katada Baba Shanda. Your big SWAT team can't shoot God. Rokatadaba. I am sending you a warning, a strong warning from the heavens. Let go the church, Pharaoh, Akatadaba, Ahab, Jezebel. Let go the church. Rukatadaba Shanda. Death in the pot, all in my mouth. Mr. Tough Tant and the Honorable Noble Andrewness is dead. And the Lord told me, Rukatadaba, that there will be a shaking, Rukata, in the Parliament House, Rukata, to the point that none of you can escape.
The arrest has been evoking condemnation from many on social media. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and opposition leader Mark Golding this week received the first of 2 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines. Former Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller also received her vaccine. They are scheduled to get another dose in another 8 to 12 weeks. And this weekend, the Health Ministry will be undertaking a vaccination blitz for people 75 years and older. In the meantime, there is concern for Jamaica and other countries which are depending on India to supply the AstraZeneca vaccine. This week, India announced a ban on exports of the drug until it inoculates more of its population. The country has been seeing a spike in COVID cases. The Manchester police have now charged a 27-year-old woman with the murder of her 84-year-old grandmother in the quiet community of Smithfield near Crosskeys. It is reported that Romelia Palkins confessed to the murder of her grandmother at Vira Wilson Palmer. Mrs. Wilson Palmer's body was found about 8 o'clock on Monday morning in a chicken coop to the back of her house. She had several stab wounds. The police have not yet confirmed when Palkins, also called Shireen Bradbury, will appear in court. 2 soldiers charged with the raping of a trainee at the Jamaica Defence Force JDF Up-Park Camp headquarters are to appear in court on Monday. 22-year-old Private Michael Grant of a St. Mary address and 19-year-old Anouk Moncrief from St. Catherine are to appear in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. It is reported that about 8:30 p.m. on March 11, the female JDF trainee along with a male companion were at an abandoned building when Grant and Moncrief entered. It is further alleged that both soldiers demanded money from the complainant and her companion. They subsequently sent the male companion to get the cash. It is further alleged that Grant had sexual intercourse with the woman against her will and forced her to carry out other sexual acts while Moncrief kept watch. Tributes are continuing for former champion racehorse trainer Wayne Dacosta. Decosta died on Tuesday night. He had been hospitalized in the intensive care unit of the University Hospital of the West Indies for the past few weeks. Decosta, an 18-time champion, has been hailed as a legend by his peers.
He'll be terribly missed. There's a void now. I will miss him every day because of his professionalism, his toughness, his fierce competitiveness.
Decosta told the Gleaner that he was motivated by excellence.
I try to run as tight ship as possible. People will say, jockeys will say that I'm a no-nonsense person, but when I have to report back to the owners how their horses worked or how the horses ran, they want a specific answer. They don't want to have me guessing and spelling. So sometimes I need to put the jockey under pressure to get a specific and a straight answer from them. A lot of hard and consistent work. Also, I've been able to attract a good set of owners who have stayed by me for the last 20 years.
And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on your notifications and subscribe today. I'm Damian Mitchell, and before we go, anti-vaxxers take to the streets of Mandeville to record their dissent for the government's efforts.
327 people dead already since the start of the year. And I'll know me not see the government come address that situation. Right now, Corona now play Jamaica again. A crime I play Jamaica right now. A crime is afraid of. I'm not afraid of Corona.
Digitalization. To me, and within my basic knowledge, we're not ready for the vaccine yet. And I think it's a plot behind a plan. You know what I mean? So we're out here advocating and people, please, don't feel like it's a joke thing. We see this for a mile. Basically, years now we are talking about this.
Me, no one go on a front. Me alright. And me no want a vaccine.
Yeah, man,
me no wear a mask. From March 14, 2020, the first case of Corona coming to Jamaica. And them are implement curfew. It's not working. It does not working. Mr. Andrew Wallace, me talk to you about man. You're passionate about Jamaica. Me love Jamaica more than you sell out. You know. Me send a 2 letter and what you call it thing? Instagram, and you don't accept them because what? You're afraid to debate with me. Because you know me I'm going to beat you. You maybe have more education than me, but you're not street smart.
Street knowledge, yeah, you know, street knowledge.
And you want to remember where you come from.
Simple.
Remember me telling people them long time ago, say you did fake, and you fake and you sell out because of money. The first mistake you make, you should never open. Remember me telling you, and you always don't open the border. Don't open the border. Make we eat how we grow, and grow we eat. And make we take care of ourselves at Jamaica. Jamaica will be a better place. You know, listen.
No curfew, no vaccine. And the reason for no curfew is because, talk to me and tell the honest truth. If for the last year and a half the curfew was working, why we still need a curfew?